I think one of the most important things about being a professional athlete is just making sure that you have a good brand, a good standing with the public, and make sure that people like you. Obviously, fans of a rival team are never going to like you, so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm more talking about just making sure that the general public who is not a rival team likes you as a person. Obviously, one of the biggest ways you make money is by your play on the field and make sure, and that's like where the majority of people's contracts come from. But also, having a good standing with the public, having a good following on any sort of social media is also going to help you get a lot of sponsorships. And I've never seen someone really tarnish their reputation in such a way that is obviously not crime related. I'm not talking about crimes because that's a really easy way to tarnish reputation. Than how Jayden Daniels has recently tarnished his reputation. And it is simply just because the number 5 at LSU has been given to another player and for the first time since Jayden Daniels, got drafted to the NFL. It's not like he was just saying like, "Oh, I'm unhappy about it. Oh, I'm unhappy about the fact that number 5 was given to another player." I thought I made a massive impact on the school on the program, and I just am really unhappy about it. He sent a cease and desist to LSU after a player was given number 5. And his reasoning was basically saying that he made it clear he did not want his number to be given to another player, and he believed his wishes would be respected. His Heisman Trophy winning season and everything he accomplished on and off the field cemented his place in LSU history. Season number given to a number player is incredibly disappointing and feels like a failure to honor the significance of what Jayden accomplished at LSU. Obviously, what it kind of just seems to be is that Jayden Daniels kind of expected his number 5 to be retired and made it so that no one can wear that number anymore. And one thing about, like, I guess retiring numbers at college, in college football specifically, is that there are only so many numbers, and college football teams are absolutely massive. It kind of becomes more and more difficult to retire numbers. I think one of the big reasons why I got so mad about this is because it mentions like legitimately 2 seconds later in the article where the number 9 jersey that Joe Burrow wore at LSU hasn't been worn since he got drafted. And I think a lot of people who, are going to be fans of college football will see that there's a significant difference between what Joe Burrow did at LSU and what Jayden Daniels did at LSU. Even though they both won Heisman's, I feel like it's just like even vibe wise, it kind of just there were different levels to it. There were different levels to what these two people did. And also, once again, I think it is just a massive ego thing to be like, I deserve my number to be retired. I deserve that. I'm going to send you a cease and desist because you're allowing another person to wear my number. I think that's just an absolutely insane thing to do. And I think a lot of people also thought that was an insane thing to do. Another thing that he did as well is that he requested the copy that LSU has of his Heisman to be given to him. And LSU obviously had no plans to it. But I think a massive thing about this, and a crazy thing about this, is the kind of entire idea of the number 5, and like Jayden Daniels wanted his number 5 to be respected because that's kind of been the big thing that people are making fun out of him. And it's not like this is a small thing. It's not like it's completely just like a little thing that people are talking about. It has been probably one of the biggest things to be talked about in sports in like the last week. It's just kind of making, not even the last week, the last couple of days. Sorry, jumping the gun a little bit. But it is something that everyone is kind of making fun of Jayden Daniels for, just being kind of way too protective of his number. We have like ticket sellers such as StubHub saying, effectively immediately, we will no longer offer tickets in groups of 5. Out of respect for Jayden Daniels, we're only doing 4 or 6 plus. Thank you for understanding. And as you're going to see, there's going to be so many posts on social media basically making fun of the idea that Jayden Daniels wanted his number 5 to be respected. And so all the tweets are going to be following this format of saying, out of respect for Jayden Daniels, we're avoiding the number 5, basically. You have the Orioles who said went from 4 to 6 runs out of respect for Jayden Daniels after Gunnar Henderson hits a home run, and sports teams are making fun of it. A lot of sports teams are making fun of it. The Mets, as well as stopped at 4 to respect for Jayden Daniels. Columbia football, the college, says out of respect for Jayden Daniels, we moved the 5-yard line from our field, and as you can see, the 5-yard hash no longer there. It's gone. You have like sports content creators saying, about to use a $5 bill to pay for a sandwich. Should I ask Jayden Daniels if that's okay? You have like parody accounts saying Jayden Daniels' teammates have reportedly been instructed to only give him high 4s, as high 5s are believed to constitute unauthorized use of his number 5. Just random guys on Twitter saying, out of respect for Jayden Daniels, we will not be playing this hole, and it's the 5th hole, and it's also a par 5 at a golf course. You even got esports teams tapping into this sort of conversation. You got Rocket League Esports saying zero respect for Jayden Daniels. At the EWC, you got Twisted Minds and Falcons tied 5-5 at 5 seconds. Luckily, it's not Game 5, but we would even have more of an issue. And you have, I'm pretty sure, a legitimate like RLCS analyst who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so you also have the LCS saying, out of respect for Jayden Daniels, today's LCS matches will feature teams playing without a support, giving us 44 League of Legends. We appreciate your understanding. Happy viewing, Summoners. And so, like, obviously, I think a lot of people are just making fun of Jayden Daniels. Well, I guess some of the accounts are just using it because it's a trendy thing to say in sports, and might as well just get those free likes. But I think a big thing about this too is just a lot of people are saying like it's kind of a massive ego move. Well, like it's fine to feel disrespected for your number being given out. You know, it's fine. It's obviously wanting your number retired is probably one of the biggest honors you can have in sports because it means that the team has believed you to be a massive part of the history. Obviously, it's a big thing, but to send a cease and desist to them is another big thing as well. And just kind of it seems like once again a lot of people just believe that Jayden Daniels is massively overreacting to this, and it is just absolutely insane. And a lot of people once again are thinking that he overvalues his contribution. Because even though he won a Heisman, he did not like win a national championship, and that's what you could argue is the difference between him and Joe Burrow is that Joe Burrow won the Natty, and also just had one of the most dominant seasons of all time. That's one thing you can argue, but it is just unbelievable that like I not a lot of people I saw had any really negative views towards Jaden Daniels. Like a lot of people just believe that he was very what was how do you irresponsible with the way he like played football, not in the sense like it would harm anyone, but it would more harm himself, where he just would take crazy contact, and a lot of people were hating on him for that. But I didn't really see too many people like actually just hate on him as the guy until he did this. And I've seen the most amount of posts I've ever seen about a single player just for something that he did off the field that wasn't crime related. Obviously, once again, massive stipulation, not crime related. He's probably one of the craziest like public image drop off of all time. If you exclude crimes that people have committed, I need to clarify that once again. Don't twist my words in any way that might be, bad faith. But I think it's just crazy. Now, I will say, maybe I make this video because I am a Jayden Daniels hater for legitimately no reason other than the fact that people were comparing him and Caleb Williams in their rookie years, and I'm a Bears fan, so I kind of had to post the agenda. But at the same time, there were just so many posts talking about this just ridiculous ask that he had for LSU to once again respect his number, respect his number 5 when he hasn't gone the distance as the most recent player who has like had his number effectively retired with Joe Burrow, where Joe Burrow won the Heisman and won the Natty. Wow, I don't want to say he only won the Heisman, but he didn't win the Natty. Is kind of like the massive distinction between these two, and it just kind of once again seems like a lot of people are just seeing that as a massive ego move rather than something that like seems to be a rational course of action, especially with the cease and desist being a thing that actually comes in. So that's just kind of how it is. That's kind of how it goes. That's all I wanted to talk about for today, though. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.